What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of JT and Liz. I'm your girl, Jasmine T, and this is my co host,
Liz.
Yes, we are two friends who met abroad while teaching English, but we both live back in the U.S., unfortunately. But we talk about our lives abroad all the time, and we figured we talk about it so much, might as well talk about it with you. So today's topic, girl, dating abroad, what I wish I knew. Okay, we're going back and talking to our younger selves. Okay, I got a list. you got a you got a few points as well. We have no idea what's on each other's list, but yeah, I'm excited to ask you some questions and get your opinions on some things for sure. I do want to start by saying, for if anybody that's new to the channel, I am now in my mid 30s. Okay, I think we should probably say that because when I was, the first time I went abroad, I was 27, and 27-year-old Jasmine did not, versus today, right? Versus today, two different mindsets, two different perspectives, especially around dating. And just real quick, cause listen, I had a script, but listen, I'm talking to my friend right now. You asked me, the other day. You asked me what I was looking for. Her and I were talking about some dude. You asked me what I was looking for, and I told you. I wrote it out in WhatsApp. And you said something that kind of hit me. You were just like, okay, this is good because you've never been able to tell me before. And I was like, ah, shit, I'm growing. Elizabeth has been my, we say involuntary dating coach. I kind of adopted you. For sure. All right, but let's get into this topic, dating abroad. What I wish I knew. I do want to start by saying that a lot of my experience was with dating apps. Okay, and so, but what I will say is that or what I wish I would have done more of is like maybe find a different type of hobby. You know what I mean? And try to meet a bit more organically. I think I was so stuck in like dating apps is the way. Eventually I started meeting people organically when I, from whether it was like in the expat community, couch surfing, hangouts. When I started doing comedy, I started meeting people more organically. But a lot of my bullet points are going to come from dating apps or whatnot. So, all right, I'm talking a lot, but I know my list is longer than yours, so I'm going to start, if that's okay. Okay? Yeah. Sorry, y'all. The first one that I have, what I wish I knew, is that not only can you be catfished by someone's photo, but you can also be catfished by language.
Explain.
Okay. So, for example, in this one, I thought about a specific date. It was actually, I think it was one of my first or second date in Warsaw specifically, but I don't think he was Polish. Long story short, we were texting. I don't know how long, but it turned out he was using a translator. And I think he did say, oh, my English isn't that good. But in my experience, sometimes people will say that, and that just means that they're shy. But but their English really is that, it's completely fine. It's better than what I could, what I could do in their language. And so talk about language fatigue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
pretty
so real.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I kind of remember the guy. I remember. In my mind, he's sweet. I don't know what he's saying. But it was just like the Google Translator back and forth, and forth. And I was just like, yeah, there is no way this is sustainable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then again, a few years ago, so Google Translate versus, today you can use ChatGPT, maybe a little easier or whatever.
Right.
But, yeah, I basically learned after maybe like two of those instances, basically like, okay, voice note, video chat, call, whatever, which is actually kind of recommended regardless. But yeah, like I just remember that, like, oh, okay, I have to start doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever had that experience before.
I have not. My only experience with language fatigue comes from actually teaching,
Mm-hmm.
not from dating someone who spoke another language.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I have not experienced that. But at least like when I experience that with teaching, it's like, okay, like I know what time my clock out is, but I can
Mm-hmm.
only imagine when it's somebody you're dating or trying to date in that
Mm-hmm.
talking phase, how draining that could be because it's like nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really depends on their level, right?
Yeah.
And so, two things, right? So, first off, I want to say that anybody who shows up and is attempting to speak English, they are accommodating me,
Yeah.
right? Which I
Yeah.
appreciate, okay?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, because that that's just been my experience. Nobody's
Yeah.
really showed up and been like, okay, well, I speak this. Okay, we try. You know, like for the most part. But I will
Yeah.
say, recently, because you know that guy I met literally a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, y'all. But English is his third language.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and
I was not
so
aware of that.
okay, yeah, and so he also said his English wasn't that good. Oddly enough, you know, in South Carolina, but he's from Poland,
Uh-huh.
and his English is definitely good enough to carry a conversation with me, of course.
Hmm.
And then my Polish is just enough to kind of fill in what I
Okay.
think he's saying. So we kind of meet. He meets here, and I fill in the gap like here, you know.
Okay.
And
I feel like that kind of works though. How do you feel with that? Do you feel tired? Do you
no,
feel
I
okay?
don't. And what's interesting is like, and that's the whole thing why I say, okay, this was a few years ago and I was just using Google Translate. I'm
Right.
thinking, okay, now if I was out there with
Mm.
the tools now, because I had Duolingo, I had the
Right.
Polish classes, of course,
Right.
but I was learning how to say like pin and where's the bathroom.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And so now doing that with ChatGPT with
Yeah.
him, it's been really interesting because we're at the level of like, for example, I will write to him in Polish and
Uh-huh.
he'll write to me in English.
Okay.
Right. And so, but we eventually found out we were both using ChatGPT, but using ChatGPT was kind of cool because I got to ask it questions. Like when it corrects something I would say, I
Right.
would be like, okay, well, why isn't it, for example, why isn't it eventuality? Because I thought I was saying eventually. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, actually, that's a false friend. You're actually,
Uh-uh.
that means possibly. And I was like, oh, I've been using that wrong for years. Thanks. You know, and it's just like, it's pretty cool. So I'm not
Yeah.
saying just, you got to understand the level, right?
Right.
So language fatigue can happen
Right.
if yeah, if the scales are too imbalanced.
Oh,
For
interesting.
example. Yeah. So yeah, that's literally my first thing. It goes deeper. We're getting juicier. Okay, y'all. So hang tight. You got anything you want to say to that, or
Do you mean an experience similar to that?
oh, just any
No.
questions, comments, suggestions?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I was kind of thinking like since that happened years ago, and I know you're doing it now, with the guy you're talking to now, but he does know some English, so it does kind of
Mm-hmm.
like help. But do you think if we had the technology, if you had the technology back then that we have now, do you think language fatigue would be like less draining, would be less of a thing since we have all these tools to help us like in situations like that?
I think that it definitely does help because I can tell, for example, that my learning style
Uh-huh.
and the questions that like I can ask nonstop questions. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it gives like real world examples. It
Yeah.
understands what I'm trying to say. There's no confusion. Like it can understand the context. So I think
Right.
that that's pretty cool. But I still think those levels, like you can't have somebody starting
Yeah.
at basic. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
I think that and there's also interest on my part because it's like I haven't been in Poland since like 2022. So
Right.
even just kind of cool, just like seeing what I remember and things like that.
Yeah.
So talking to him was pretty cool. I don't know if there will be a third date. We'll see. We'll talk about that off camera. But it's been fun. We'll see. All right. So the next thing on my list, ooh, girl. As Americans, okay,
Uh-huh.
we can be very sensitive
Uh-huh.
to things.
Okay.
Okay. So when our cultural sensitivity clashes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to, so for the people who don't know, I lived in Poland like on and off for like 4 years, had one, committed exclusive relationship. We call it that relationship. And I'll never forget, there were two things where we kind of butt heads on. And so, not even butt heads on, there were multiple things, but but there were two things that I remember on this particular list. Girl, so I never forget, he was trying to remember the word for farm, and he said plantation. And but he didn't mean anything by it. He was just trying to remember the word.
Oh.
And so, and I was jokingly, I was just like, oh, you can't say that, and then, but I was joking. I wasn't truly offended.
Yeah.
I was like jokingly offended.
Yeah.
And you know how he was. So it's just like, why is everything a thing? I think he kind of felt like I was getting onto him because he couldn't remember the word, which is not true.
Yeah.
Just know. we gonna get away from that. But that was like a cultural clash. And I was just like, I was trying to say, okay, but if you ever come back to South Carolina with me, just try not to say plantation. Let's remember the word farm. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay? And, girl, so, he was a little bit older than me. He was like 5 or 6 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And, he was a fan of hip hop.
Okay.
You know where I'm going?
Yes and no.
Okay. So we were just talking about something. I don't know if it was Tupac. It was something. But he was talking about the music he listened to, like when he was in high school and stuff like that. And apparently him and his friends, they would call each other, because they didn't know any better. They would just be like, oh yeah, my N-word or whatever. And I'd be like, but he said the word. And I was just like, again, sir. It's really like, I'm trying to shape you up. I understand you're just repeating what you heard.
Shape him up.
But then you have that feeling like, do I let this slide? I'm supposed to be offended right now. You know what I mean? But I also know that you're trying to talk about your appreciation for something and something that you did when you were a teenager. We're talking about 1990s Poland.
Yeah.
Am I really supposed to get upset about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's like, this is the thing. How does that person respond once you deliver that information to them? Okay, this is what we're talking about, what we wish we knew.
Right.
So seeing how he responded to things and seeing how, like, if what I was going to say, it was always going to be a battle, like if it's like cultural battles and stuff like that, like I'm just trying to say, take my word for it, like this is how it goes.
Right.
You know
like,
what I mean?
I know.
Yeah, like I'm trying to do this and everything, like I just didn't want to have to explain every little thing.
Yeah.
So what is that, cultural fatigue? What sway. Okay, and let me also listen. I got a lot to say. Okay, on this one. Okay, Elizabeth.
Watch this pop up on his feed.
Listen, he blocked. So anywho, listen, it's just my experience. Okay. The next one. Let's get to the next one because you've actually made a comment on this, and then please read something on your list after this one, if you don't mind. Okay. So you made a comment in another video because I think we were talking about like I think I dated more. I dated more.
Yeah.
What were you about to say?
I said locals.
Yes. And you said that you were afraid of being fetishized. And so I have a bullet point on here, fetish versus interest. And how would you
tell the difference?
Tell the difference. Thank you. Yes.
Right. That's a question for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess now that you bring it up that way, perhaps that was the issue. I didn't know how to tell the difference. And I didn't realize I didn't know the difference. And because I didn't know, I just decided not to indulge. I think,
And
and this is, I think it's different for a man and a woman in this regard. Like, I think a man will have no problem dealing with all of that because in the 70s, 80s, he'd be like, oh, yeah, I was somebody's first. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would never think that. But I feel like men have that, like, they're, it's like a, I don't know. With men, that's okay for them.
like they're
With,
cool with being a notch or cool with being a check off the.
yeah. Yeah. I feel like I don't think men think about that at all. Like, oh, she's only with me because I'm black and you know what they hear about black. Like, I don't think guys think that.
I think they do a little. I
I
think
don't.
some do. I won't say
Some.
you got a brother. I got a brother. They got feelings. You know this.
Okay, but listen though. Listen. So now we're kind of leading into another topic that I feel is a thing, especially like in places like Korea. Like when it comes to dating,
I already know.
black men are better off than black women are. I feel like black women have more struggles dating
Mm-hmm.
in South Korea. I can't speak on other places, but in South Korea, I feel like black men have that leg up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so just for me, I mean, I didn't know that until I got there, but being there and then in addition to that, feeling like, oh, you know, are they really do they really want me for me or is this just a fetish type of thing? Just both those things together just made me just try to be more careful
Mm-hmm.
about my selections overseas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you agree or disagree?
I no, you were so careful you just didn't. But so yes, the that's kind of in here where you're like, how do you tell the difference,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
then because there are some people who will do that to you,
Yeah.
but the fear is kind of like, but don't assume that that's how they all feel, right? You might
Yeah. Yeah. That's
miss
also
up
true.
on you might miss out on something, a good connection or whatever. What did I write about it? Yeah, my question was to ask you because I to be because one of the worst things, man, okay, is kind of like, and I'm really going back to my mindset at that time
Mhm.
where I was somebody who didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but I was out there, right?
Right.
I thought I knew. I was just like, well, I want a relationship. Okay, but what kind of relationship? And
Mhm.
what's the long term? And you
Mhm.
just, it's kind of that like,
Yeah.
idea that you always have when you're younger. It's just like, okay, well, one day I want a family. Okay, well, do you know what it takes to have a family? Have you worked through generational stuff from your family? Like, have we talked about? I wasn't thinking any of that. And then when
Right.
things start coming up, you're like, yo,
Mm.
okay, this is
Yeah.
what I really truly want. What I want. No, sorry. What I need,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? In order for me to be happy or peace or whatever we talking
Yeah.
about. But yeah, so all that shifts, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I was on many a dates
Mhm.
where it could simply have been, this person is I might be a novelty and I'm thinking that I might be thinking, oh, this is a day. I'm curious where this goes, and
Yeah.
that's a way to get hurt real quick when the
Yeah.
person's like
Yeah.
not. So maybe just still be cautious, move
Mhm.
forward, but be cautious and pay attention. You know what I mean?
Right.
And see how they're moving, see what they're saying. Are they getting physical real fast? This is anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
so yeah, just be careful. And I do want to say too, when we're talking about the language being fetishized and all that, and how to, of course, protect yourself. But if you ain't trying to talk, You know what I'm saying? And you ain't really trying to be nobody girlfriend, do you, bruh? You know, so
True.
you all right?
Yes.
I told her. I said she needs water because she coughs all the time. She said she was good.
That is true. But then also, I think, you might. Okay, for example, I had all of those things too, like layering, like, oh, do they really want me for me? Da da da. But then also, I do have a type, and the standard Korean man isn't my type. You know what I'm saying? So I think also that was a thing too that just kind of layered, like, I didn't I didn't get a chance to have a chance because nobody initially like caught my eye.
So let's talk about that one that did catch your eye. And we know who we're talking about, right?
Um, a Korean guy that caught my eye?
The barber.
The barber
There was a guy that worked in a barber shop that had a beard.
that I was talking to?
You weren't talking to him, but he caught your eye.
He did? Wait,
Yeah,
why don't I remember?
girl.
Wait, what barbershop we go to though? Why was we in
No,
a
we
barbershop?
we would be in town and
Hmm.
we it's apparently a street would be on and you had mentioned it. You was like, I saw a guy with a beard. I was like, well, beard. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
He was
not
a
something you
Korean guy with a
see.
beard?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think he was because you know you like him a little thick.
Yeah.
So when she's talking about Elizabeth like thick
Yeah, yeah. That's what I
with
mean.
and beard. So we're talking
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
what you generally see walking
Yeah.
around Daegu. That's not that.
Yeah. I don't
So
remember this guy though you're talking about.
so just we'll talk about it off camera, but because I don't think y'all never talked, but there
Okay, okay.
was a guy that definitely caught your eye,
Okay.
and so in that situation, but I also didn't see you even you would I don't see how that would have worked unless he said something to you, which I
Probably.
also
Yeah.
don't like
Yeah.
see, and I think that's a whole another thing with the whole dating apps because you don't expect them to talk to you in public.
Mm.
Maybe that was just an expectation. I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
like it's more courage on a dating app.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
A little bolder.
Okay.
Um, did you ever use dating apps?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying. What was the thing back then? Was it Tinder? I think yeah, Tinder. That's the swipe one, right?
They're all swipes.
Oh.
She was not in the streets, y'all. Well, you were not in the streets. So, listen, because what you got next before I say something? What you got?
Um, I think one of the things I learned was that um, dating when you dating abroad can make you realize how easy it is to dispose of people
Ooh.
and be disposed. Why are you making that face?
Because Elizabeth, you be saying some like very they cut. You say words that cut. I think last week it was abandoned. Like, continue. I'm listening.
What I mean is, it's like, everyone's here on contracts. The contracts are obviously are like different timing. And then, so people are coming and going. So if you are the type just to be messing around, ghosting people, whatever, it's very easy to do that because of just the culture of being a foreigner abroad and
Hmm.
everyone's like leaving and coming. Um, a situation I had was I was talking to this guy on Tinder and moved off Tinder and we were like texting like regular messages, cacao, whatever. And he just stopped responding, like ghosted me or whatever. Um, and so like a few weeks or maybe even a few months after, I was at a birthday party in another city with a friend. And I was living in a really small town. And so I had brought my other friend with me because his girlfriend lived in the city that my friend was having her birthday party at. So he was going to come with me, hang out at the party, and then go chill with his girlfriend. So we all were there at the party, which is like this bar or whatever. And I'm sitting down, and he's like, exploring. He's playing darts and all this stuff. And he comes over, and he's like, "Oh, I just met this really cool guy. Da 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 da. We're having fun." I think he went to get like something out of his jacket or whatever that was near me. It's like, "Yeah, we're betting, and I lost. I got to get the next round." Da da da. I'm like, "Okay, sounds like you're having fun. Whatever." So then we're getting ready to leave to go to the next part. So I go over to where he is, and tell him like, "Hey, we're gonna go leave now." And so he's like, "Oh, okay. Oh, and I want you to meet my friend." And then he turns, and he's like, "Oh, this is my friend such and such." And then the guy, he's just staring at me, and I'm like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." And I'm looking at my friend like, "Okay, ready when you are." Like, they're waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Oh, we know each other." And I was
Mm.
like, "I don't think so." Because I don't go out much. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you salsa dance, and I would know if you salsa dance because, not too many of us are dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, 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 no. We know each other. Here, look. So he pulls out his phone and
Mm.
shows me like our last.
The audacity.
And I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, my bad. And I was like, okay. And then my friend, he's just looking from the both of us like, because it's just silence. And he's just like, yeah, it was on me. That was on me. My bad. And I was like,
Sorry.
I,
You
I
want
mean, I
what
didn't
to
know what to
say?
say.
Yeah, there's nothing to say.
Right? And he was like, no, we're gonna make this right. We're gonna make this right. Here. Um uh let's meet up for tea or whatever. I'm here in the city for a little while. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. So I take down his number. Well, he has a message. I think I might have deleted it. So he like reached out again, so his information popped up. We ended up going to the next destination, which was a club, and he ended up being there too. So we danced. I'm gonna call you later. Da 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 da. Right? Ghosted me again. And I'm like, this is weird. And I remember thinking, like, would this happen in America?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was the
Um,
first thing in my
mm.
mind, like, would this happen in America? So that's when I say dispose. It's just like, it's just so easy because it's like, oh, like, well, I might not see this person again because they might leave or I might
Mm-hmm.
leave. And Korea is big, but it's small, but so it's just so
Mm-hmm.
easy to be like, yeah, who knows? We'll see.
What was his occupation? What was
He's
he
a
doing?
teacher.
Oh, okay. Got okay. Okay. I thought it was something else.
I
But
know.
yeah, so very transient, right? And
Mm.
so for example, Charlotte is a transient place. People come, people go,
Mm.
and I think that so not necessarily abroad, but it is more likely you run into that.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, if you're going anywhere that's transient, which is more than likely,
Keep that in
people teach.
mind.
Yeah, keep that in mind. But people do that, and I think I won't. Will I say it's gotten worse? I mean, it definitely the whole ghosting thing. It just
Yeah.
and you just learn not to take it personally. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
kind of like it's funny hearing you say that because I think you today, outside of the whole like married with kids and stuff, but I think you're okay. Would you say that when the guy was like, "Oh, we gonna make this right," and then now y'all are at the next place, or even going to tea? I'm thinking you today would be like, "No, I'm good." Like, not
Yeah.
even if you
Yeah.
had the,
Yeah.
yeah, not even your relationship status. Like, you could
Yeah.
be single as a dollar bill, and I think you today still would be like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
The growth.
Yes. The growth.
So, yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, we talked about that. You got something? I got a few other things, but what else?
Yeah, I think for me, also red flags are interesting overseas because there's other factors at play. And I think for at least in my situations, at the time I didn't realize if it was genuinely a red flag or just like the culture of the men I was dealing with. So, for example, this one guy, he was military, and you already know.
Can we take a pause real quick before you continue? Because for people who do not know what, because you know the whole like reputation
Yeah,
of
yeah.
military, and I'm not gonna sit up here and bash like, oh, military man ain't this. It's just like people will tell you in the most honest way.
Yeah.
Say you have a family member or a friend in the military. They might say, "Well, Jazz, just be careful." I'm pretty sure you've been told, "Be careful." Like we wouldn't go out.
Yeah.
In the like they had a curfew when we were in South
Mhm.
Korea, and sometimes
Mhm.
we wouldn't go out until after because they would just be
Yeah.
rowdy and crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just like, yeah, there is a reputation, man, and so the fact that you're starting with that, let's just set for the people who don't know the reputation, just
Setting
know
the
they got
tone.
one.
We're setting the tone. Um, so this one, he wasn't actually rowdy in that way, but there were other things that came up that I never, this one thing I never like experienced before. So I didn't know how to take it. And I guess because of that, it kind of just scared me and I just, things just kind of fizzled. And I guess in some respect, it kind of was like how earlier where I said like I didn't know if it was like a fetish situation or just a genuine curiosity
Well,
type of thing. Just when it comes to dating people in other countries. For me personally, because I couldn't discern which one it was. I just didn't date at all because I didn't know. Likewise, he in this situation, I didn't know like is this a real red flag or is this just how they are? So, um, this he comes to visit me. I'm in my small town, and there's like a big festival or whatever happening. And he has like his backpack or whatever. And since my apartment isn't too far from the festival, and the bus terminal is right there, pick him up from the bus terminal. We'll come to my place, drop everything off, and then we head like to the festival because it's not
mm-hmm.
far. So he comes in, drops his stuff off, and I didn't think he'd ever been inside like a real Korean apartment. So I gave him a short tour, which wasn't much to see because they're tiny, really
Mm-hmm.
small apartments. But I gave him a tour, had a small balcony, like, yeah, it's my balcony, nice view, da da da, and then we left. Enjoyed the festival, came back, got his stuff, welcome to the terminal, whatever. And then either that night or the next night we were just talking on the phone and I was asking him like, oh, so that was your first time like inside like a real Korean apartment, like what did you think? What wait what, why are you looking like that? Why are you looking like that?
Because I'm just wondering if the rest of your conversation was so PG. Just
Okay, so here's the part that it starts getting a little scary and like my face like drops. He's like, "Oh yeah, the apartment was really cool. Real interesting. Pretty neat. I did notice. You had two bottles of wine on the floor. Both were empty. The bed was made. You had some boots on the balcony. Men's size 10.5. Bath details of my whole apartment. And
mm-hmm.
like the more in depth he got, like my face just dropped. Like, oh, this is different. And so I'm like, is this a military thing
Mm-hmm.
that spills into other aspects of your life and relationships? Or is this something I need to be worried about? I couldn't discern which one. And so that fizzled out.
Okay, two
I had never
things.
experienced that before. It like that, and then also a military guy. So I didn't know if that just comes with that.
I got so many questions for you after this. I got so many questions. You've told me that story before, but
Uh
you
huh.
didn't tell me about the boots. So were those your boots, or were
No,
those
they
somebody?
were not my boots. But remember the friend that I bought? Listen, remember the friend that I bought with me to go to the city, then
Yeah,
other
those are
city?
his
And those
boots.
were his boots because I went to a festival and I needed boots because we were in the ocean. And
Okay. Okay,
So of
gotcha.
course he probably looking at me like,
Oh yeah.
"Dude, size 10." Like,
Um. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, they are trained
yeah.
to assess all situations.
But I'm civilian. I don't know all of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I told you. I mean, my experience was very short. But yeah, because I think I told you one. It was like he started talking, and it was based. I don't want to repeat exactly what he said, but it was basically like a moment for him when he was, I guess, in action, and it was like a near death
Ooh.
experience. But the way he kept talking, it was just like, "You're not here right now,
Mm-hmm.
dude.
Yeah.
I'm still here, sir. Please,
Check,
you need
please.
therapy." And yeah, I'm kind of far from my place, so yeah. So, ooh, girl, yeah. So your experience different because you would be out with the military men. You would. It's just it's just interesting. But did you have anything else you wanted to say to that before I comment?
To that particular story, no.
Okay, because when you said it was something about a red flag, so for example, you were trying to understand what was a red flag because the whole situation was new to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I actually have on here like if as far as like cultural differences, right? If you're in a
Uh-huh.
brand new culture, like
Yeah.
understanding what's a red flag and
Right.
be understanding, but don't let too many passes go to, oh, this is a cultural difference,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
And
don't
also
let a
ask
red,
questions. I don't think
huh?
I asked. I was just like, oh, okay.
I know Elizabeth today would have been asked questions.
Yeah.
No, Elizabeth today wouldn't have had him in his apartment, in your apartment the first time either.
No, you can hold that.
Yeah.
You would have been
So
strong.
I do know that. Um, but yeah, so yeah. So as far as like the red flags and stuff like that, just because I think we're when something happens and you're in your mind you're trying to find a reason for something
Yeah.
you don't understand,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to chalk it up and say, oh, that's a cultural difference, or like, or maybe it's a social norm that I don't understand, or something like that. Like
Right.
I once had an issue. We are definitely over time, but like yeah, I remember being on a date, and I don't even think that this was a cultural issue, but do I want to talk about this? No, I don't. I don't. I'm so sorry. It's so small. But just know, like, don't let red flags hide behind accents. You know what I mean? And cultural
Yeah.
issues and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So the last one is I'm with the same friend again.
Mm-hmm.
Because this new guy I'm talking to, he comes out to my city, but the day he comes out, I was tutoring these girls, so I needed. Of course, he didn't know like where to go, so I had my friend meet him at the bus terminal. They went to the gym, killed time until I was done tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
And so afterwards, when I was done, we all met up at the restaurant. We went out to eat. We're having a good time, and then all of a sudden he starts talking kind of just like how you said your guy was, and he just starts talking about how he's had two kids, and he was
Damn.
just like, hey, it was either them or me, it wasn't gonna be me, like just real, like, I don't know, just real, like that.
We gonna
And
delete
I just
that one.
remember me and my friend looking at each other like, what? Like we each just like pause a little bit in slow motion, like, is he really talking about kids like over
Mm-hmm.
dinner? Like, really? So then he ends up going to the bathroom, and then we just looked at each other like that was wild. So I had never experienced something like that, and I don't think he has either.
Yeah. They were.
Yeah, I didn't know that they do that. I didn't know.
They've been through some stuff.
Yeah.
They've been traumatized.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know it would just come up like over tea. Like, I didn't know.
Okay, you thought that there was like a filter to their trauma?
Yeah, like if you act.
Like they letting y'all out here in the world, so you must be okay.
Like if you ask, like, hey, you ever, what's the craziest thing you ever did? And then I feel like it'll be the appropriate time to say, oh, I used to do this. Like I've done this before because, not like, oh, this chicken good. Yeah, I used to. Just crazy. I just was not prepared. I was not prepared.
Gotcha.
So I think for me the lesson was if you do attempt to talk or date someone who's in the military, understand that there are traumas that they have from things that they've experienced, and they can come up at any time, and you have to be okay with that to some degree, and know like that's just what it is. I had no, I didn't know. Had I known, I think I would have stayed away.
Listen. And I'm sure somebody told you to.
No.
Nobody told you to stay away? Nobody?
No. I'm out there learning everything for myself. No.
Well, that's, to be fair. I mean, yeah, when I got to Korea, yeah. Yeah. I had to see for myself. You right. Had to see for myself. Listen, if you got any stories like Elizabeth's, please drop them below. Or if you have any advice for old Elizabeth.
Right, because there might be some new Elizabeth about to get on the plane. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to jump into the dating scene. This is what y'all need to know.
Listen, okay. All right. Back to locals. Just real quick, because I got one more. All right, because this is...
Sound like the locals are safer.
Listen.
I could have took my chance being a fetish.
Because you know what? You said you should have taken your chance just being a fetish? Listen. The last one that I have is something that I wish I knew is going to be the imbalance of immersion, which is something that my ex brought up. And I think it is a good point. I don't know if he meant this shit, but I'm pretty sure he was just being manipulative. But it is actually pretty good because I remember him saying that, he misses speaking in Polish, right? And so, because with me, we were always speaking in English, okay? And I think he was just kind of picking at me one day. He was just like, I just wish you'd try, And the thing is, like, I tried, but then I felt defeated by it. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying today. I'm also wondering, like, okay, if I had ChatGPT or like a different tool, would I have gotten better at it?
Right. Could have worked through those.
Yeah. Could I've worked through and understood and maybe, maybe made, it a bit more equal in that way. But, and then, we talked, I remember telling you, I remember talking to him like a few months after we hadn't spoken in a while. And he was texting and it was like broken English. And I was just like, are you all right? And it didn't dawn on me, like, so when I wasn't there, he was never using English, right? So it kind of, he forgot and it was reverting back. And I was like, oh, boy, I helped you. You know what I mean? Like, which we kind of joked about. Complaining. Yeah, we joked about it before, like, in the relationship. But, when I think back, I'm like, okay, I was in Warsaw. I was like not too far from where you grew up. Like, whenever there was a family function, it wasn't like, oh, I don't want to go. It's like, okay,
right.
What should I expect? You know what I mean? Like, right. I think I was very understanding in that way. Like, I remember, for example, there's a holiday / tradition in Poland. It's like All Saints Day, where you go to the cemetery and you visit your ancestors, you decorate the graves, you pay your respects. I knew it existed, but I didn't have nobody to visit till I was with him. You know what I mean? And I thought that was, I'm not going to say, oh, pretty cool, but I was like, oh, I'm participating in this, and got to visit like his family plot. It was different, very, very different. But it wasn't something that I was just like, oh, this is weird. I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was him. He was nitpicking.
Yeah, and so listen. but I do think it's important to make sure there's effort on both sides if you're
Yeah.
going to bring two cultures together. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's just how I wanted to end that. And then I do want to say, hopefully I did a good job, because I didn't want it to seem like, okay, yeah, this was my experience dating a Polish guy, and this is how
Oh, yeah.
but this is my experience dating someone from another culture. But it's still very important not to let
Right.
the cultural differences be excuses on why y'all are absolutely incompatible.
Right.
Right? Because it didn't work out with him, not because he was from a different culture, but because he was slap
Right.
crazy. You know that. So yeah, there are crazy people everywhere. Just just a little different accents. That's
Yeah.
it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Don't let red flags hide behind cultural differences. Be understanding, but don't give too many passes. And yeah, that's
I
pretty
think
much
that was
it.
a good wrap up. It's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it could apply to like any country, literally, any
absolutely.
travel, any trip, whether you're living abroad or just going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, if y'all want to comment on Elizabeth's military stories, please drop them below. But yeah,
Or your stories.
okay, yes, or mine. But listen, and there are plenty of other dating stories. I just wanted to come with that.
See, and that's all of mine.
Yeah, yours is.
That's literally it.
Elizabeth turned into an Ajuma like year 1.5. It's just like,
I really did.
you really did.
Found other things to do. I don't know.
Oh gosh. All right. So yeah, let's drop your comments below if you got any questions, comments, suggestions. Please let us know your dating abroad stories as well, things that you learned. I'm really glad that we're doing this years later, because we grew.
We did.
We did. So yeah. All right. That's gonna be it for us today. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye.
Peace.